People of the world, yes, it is my voice. I'm back. It's Kellen Councilman. Do you know who brought me back? The one and only Keith Guernsey. The Guerns returns yet again. He reached out to me and he said, "Hey, do you want to keep this thing going?" And I've been listening to a lot of near-death experience podcasts. A lot. I think they're the most fascinating thing on planet Earth for me right now. And so backstage, I just asked Keith, "Hey, have you had a near-death experience?" Because I know he's a 3-time cancer survivor. And he said, "Yeah." And so we're going to dive right into that today, and then we'll go wherever that takes us.
I was trying to think of more than one. I have many, but memory isn't what it used to be. But the first one that comes to mind is my ill-fated dive into Boston Harbor on December 7th. And it was only to win a bet with the two guys that I was drinking with because we had just gotten laid off. And all for $200. And I dove in. It was December 7th, like I said, and it was pretty darn cold up in Boston at that time. And I went to swim right out, but the cement stairs on the bridge it was low tide, so I couldn't reach them. So I had to swim all the way across the harbor. And I got to tell you, it was the most terrifying experience. Not at the time because we had been drinking, but when I think back on it, I think, how stupid could you be to risk your life for $200? So I got to the other side of the harbor, and my buddies were waiting for me in a boat there, and they threw me a rope, and I half let them pull me up and pull myself up a little bit. Very fortunately, my best friend was with us, and he had a condo right nearby, and they had a nice sauna in it. So they took my clothes off, wrapped me in a warm blanket, and sat me in the sauna for, I don't know how long, it was half an hour or so. And I survived it. I survived that one. Actually, obviously, I survived every one I've had because I'm still here. The other one I can think of was I was in Canton, and I was out drinking again. Alcohol theme always seems to intervene. And I was driving home towards 128, which is a famous highway in Boston, and this truck stopped suddenly, and I barreled into him, and this other truck bailed into me. And I had a broken jaw. Cop stopped me, and he wanted to take me in, but someone wiser than I said to him, "He's hurt. You can't take him in when his jaw's broken like that. Put me in an ambulance and send me to the hospital." And that was number 2 on my list. And that's there are so many more, and I can't think of it at the moment. But it's been an interesting 70 years. Let's say that. Let's leave it at that.
So one of the things I want to talk to you about today is some people, when they have near-death experiences, they die. Mm-hmm. And they experience unconditional love. They go into like another world. Some of them go to heaven. It's a very fascinating thing that happens when people pass away, only to come back. As someone who's had numerous brushes with death, where do you find yourself nowadays in regards to your spiritual life?
Well, I have started going to church, so I know God's played a big role in my still being here 70 years. Most people that have had 2 life-threatening brain surgeries, 3 cancers, and 1 battle with morbid obesity haven't lived through that, and I've been very fortunate. And what keeps me going is that I have promised my lovely wife, Susan, that we would have our anniversary um, 50 years after we met. We met later in life, so we were 44, and now we have to live until 90. I promised her we would be able to dance at our 50th anniversary. And she said, "Do you think we'll still be able to dance at that time?" I said, "Doesn't, just as long as we're together holding hands, you know, I will have accomplished my lifetime goal at that time." But there's no question, God has helped me out through all these things. I wasn't really a church going man until Susan found a church downtown where her friend of hers is the I can't even think of the word now, sermonator. She goes to sermons. And it's been 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and it has been a revelation. We met a lot of nice people, made a lot of wonderful connections, and she gives great sermons.
That's beautiful. So what kind of church is it?
It's a very little church. It's in downtown Gainesville, very small, maybe 24 people are members, and it's non-denominational, so we don't have to pick a denomination or anything like that. But it's really nice, real fun.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I find that the power of our will
Mm-hmm.
and the power of our connection with something more powerful than ourself, some higher power,
Yeah,
is just so it's so beautiful. It's so
yeah,
beautiful. And
it
just
really
getting
is.
out of the holiday season, I feel a lot of love in my
Mhm.
life.
Mhm. That's good.
Um, and I'm sure you do too.
I do, absolutely.
Having overcome, and you're healthy as far as I'm concerned. You're a
Yeah,
healthy guy, and I like to perceive you as a healthy guy, right?
yeah.
Um, what are your mental slash spiritual exercises that you went through and continue to go through um, in the face of what many folks would consider some
Yeah,
considerable, let's just call them, you know what I'm talking about.
I do, I do. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is when I wake up every morning, which is never a guarantee in my situation, I look to the heavens and say, raise my hands like this and say, "Thank you, God, for another day on this wonderful planet." You know, and it's really from the heart. Um, then I go to my sanctuary, which is my gym, and get started on my day. But and this church is new to me, like I said, but it's very, very invigorating. We do some prayers, we do some sermons, we do benediction. It doesn't last long, but it's good to make your connection with God.
And do you ever have a dialogue with God?
Not really, no.
So it's a one-way street. You're sort of like you're putting out the communication at this point.
Well, what now?
So it's kind of a one-way street. So you're sending God sort of the information that you would like, that sort of thing. Do you ever have you ever like heard anything in your mind or had like a prayer that led you to a realization?
No, not so much. Not so much. I believe in him, and I thank him, and I pray to him on Sunday morning. But I don't really have any conversations with him. I have conversations with Susan. She's my guiding light, so to speak.
And what's so special about Susan? Because in a previous conversation, you told me that you wake up every day and you turn over to her and you tell
I
her
do that.
you
I do that as well. Well, first of all, that she's accepted me for 26 years, um, and she is my soulmate forever and ever. And she's taken care of me. The second brain surgery, which was my gift. I kiddingly gifted her right after we started dating. We were only dating for 6 months, and I gifted her with a 12-hour brain surgery that she had to sit through. Me, it wasn't so bad. I mean, they knocked me out. It was like a good long nap and woke me up, said I was tumor free. And then we had 20 good years, relatively health free living. And then I was diagnosed with cancer 2018, 2019, and 2021. And she's been with me through all of this. And of course, my beating morbid obesity by losing 160 pounds. Her patience, and she was my sole caregiver since my family, the rest of my family is 1,000 miles away. And I didn't, she didn't call them, and I wanted her to call them if she really felt it was necessary, but she didn't. She did it all herself. She's unbelievable. Making me foods to
Ladies and gentlemen, we have lost our good friend Keith Guernsey to the internet void, for lack of a better word. We will hopefully see him come back on, but I think about Keith's overcoming and his health as miraculous, absolutely miraculous. And as you all well know, I own this marketing company called Send It Rising. And I thought a lot over this holiday season about my willingness from this position to start talking about what Send It Rising means to me, which has a spiritual component to it. And for many business owners, I feel like they shy away from that. And that's something I want to be more courageous about in the future as Keith hops back on the feed. But yeah, this is something that I think, putting soul back in business is a big piece of the puzzle, at least for me personally. And so I'm going to start talking more about spirituality, miracles, because for the lives behind the businesses, I find, especially take Keith's story. He could talk about sales all day long, but at the end of the day, as we experience miracles in our lives, I find it's very important to understand those stories. I was watching a Barbara Walters, who rest in peace. What would you call it? Documentary yesterday, and just totally blown away by everything that she accomplished. And that to me is so beautiful. And that's the voice I want to have on the internet, if that makes any sense. And I'm happy to do it from this particular platform. 3 cancer diagnoses, overcoming all of them, waking up after having had a brain surgery and being able to come on this show and very articulately explain how grateful he is. That's incredible stuff. It's just incredible stuff. So we love Keith. We love Mr. Guernsey. But we do understand that from time to time, there are internet issues, which is what we are currently experiencing with Mr. Guernsey. So I'll give it a minute or so. We'll see if he pops back on. But in that minute, I want to share with you that this particular holiday season for me has been absolutely perfect. I spent some amazing time with the kids, who are just my joy, my kiddos. I'm surrounded by all these beautiful gifts that folks gave me. One in particular is a heart with the Chinese symbol for love on it, which is so cool. and a couple of Christmas, what do you call them? Christmas decorations that are hanging from my window here that my great aunt made 35 years ago, maybe more, maybe less. And they're still going strong. Absolutely beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while since we last talked. When I go back and look at the podcasts, I know that there's a substantial gap between this current episode and the previous episodes. I took myself a vacation from the podcasting, which, as many of you will relate to, is something that we do from time to time as human beings. And it's been wonderful. Things have really been great. I've been involved with a nonprofit, Hope Link. Oh, Keith, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
You're okay. There's I just see the KG, but we're all good. So if you want to let's make you the Alexi will keep me up here. Yes, so we're talking about your lovely wife, who is a miracle in and of herself. I wanted to talk to you about miracles, because brain surgeries to me are miracles. Did doctors ever tell you, because when I talk to you, you're completely, you're articulate, you're intelligent, you have great memory. As far as I can tell, you're firing at 100%,
I am.
And how does that work? How does that happen?
Just, number of things. I've always had a strong life work ethic. Just been a strong believer in perfection and being as close to perfection as possible. I'm very tenacious when it comes to my life, my body, my health. And again, a lot of the credit goes to Susan, because someone much wiser than I, which encompasses a lot of people, once said, there is always a strong woman behind the man, and in my case, there would never be truer. And just other family, friends, rooting me on. It's been a wonderful experience seeing how resilient you are.
So for someone listening to this podcast who knows someone who's gone through similar trials to what you have, or perhaps it's the first time that cancer has shown up in their world, what's your advice to them?
Well, I've got a 9-point plan that I've sent to my cancer patients, and they've been very, very interested in receiving it, and have said it's been inspiring. There are things, not rocket science, but there are things like find the best medical care that you can. And that sounds obvious, but I had a coaching patient that did not do that. She said she wasn't getting the best treatment, and I said, you have to get a second opinion. You owe it to yourself to get a second opinion. She says, I don't like the fact that the doctor's going to be upset. I said, you shouldn't worry about it. People do that all the time. But again, emphasizing the fact that if you don't have the best doctor/medical team in the world, you're doing yourself a disservice, and your family and your friends and everyone else who loves you. And what I'd like to suggest is, it would take me too long to go through the whole 9-point plan. But if I can give you my email address, my phone, people that are listening can call me, text me, email me, and I'll be happy to send them a copy of the plan by email if they want to do that.
Yeah. Give them your email.
Okay. It's the Guernsey. I'll say it and I'll spell it because I'm told they still have a Boston accent. The Guernsey 2005 at yahoo.com. That's T Tom, H Henry, E Edward, G George, U Unicorn, R Robert, N Nancy, S Sugar 2005 at yahoo.com. And my cell phone is 978-973-5691. My text is the same, and people are welcome to call me if they want to talk more about what's happened with me. And it's just been phenomenal. I mean, I'm almost at a loss for words sometimes because this has happened, and I feel like I withstood the all the problems that have occurred. And again, it's just being tenacious and battling your way back and follow, simple rules. Another one is exercise, nutrition. Get a good balance of vegetables and oranges and things like that, fruits. And it's just it's the only way to be as far as I'm concerned. You can be negative and it won't do you any good. I had a discussion with the finance lady at the clinic where I went, and she said, "I really admire you, Keith. I admire your joie de vivre." She said, "I wish my brother had taken on all these things instead of being negative. He's not here anymore. He lost his battle with cancer." So.
One of the things I love about you is your fierce dedication to positivity.
Yeah.
And to keeping a positive mindset. And I feel like it's the closest thing to the perfect strategy that
Yeah.
I've found. And I've been saying this a lot recently. Simon Sinek, who's a famous author, says that the mind doesn't understand negatives. And what he means,
exactly right.
So what he means by that is if I say, don't think about a pink elephant, don't do it. Don't think about a pink elephant, a big pink
Yeah.
elephant with a big trunk. Do not think about that. Think about something else, just not a pink elephant.
Yeah. Really.
When we start thinking about a pink elephant, we realize that, or at least I've realized this, and I've really taken this to heart. I would rather say I'm not in love with that idea. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, let's
Yeah.
say, right? Like, I prefer to focus on love and joy and contentment and happiness. Those are the words I want coming out of my mouth.
Sure.
And when I talk with people, I hope that those word choices are helping them reframe their life in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
What does your mind like? Do you hear words in your head? Do you have that internal self-talk that a lot of people have?
I do to some extent. But I do listen to what I have to say to myself, um, and if I'm, not getting out what I want to say or comfortable with what I'm saying, I bounce it off Susan and say, "You think this is okay to say?" And it's working. We bounce. We're both writers, so we bounce ideas off each other all the time.
And you're the author of how many books now?
5.
5. Are you working on another one?
I am.
And what's this one about?
The aforementioned living well with cancer.
Wow.
But it's also a lot longer than we can talk about in this length of time. But I think people enjoy it. I've talked I bounced it off my um, staff of doctors and nurses, and they both thought it was a great idea.
Mm, yeah. I really what I hope and pray is that through this appearance on the show that someone will call you. Someone
Yeah,
who's
definitely, definitely.
that's the
Call
hope.
me or email me anytime. I'd be happy to send you the advanced PDF of living well with cancer.
Yeah. So for 2023, let's look ahead a little bit and
Okay.
sort of understand what does a perfect 2023 look like for you?
Publishing new book, travel with my family. We've got a couple of trips already lined up, and just keep working my program so that, exercise wise, nutrition wise, so that I feel as great at the end of the year as I do now.
Mm. And what does your exercise routine look like?
It's usually an hour long, 35 minutes of cardio, which can be running, um, elliptical machine, and a 2-pedal exercise bike. Pedaling with your hands and shoulders, and then pedaling with your feet. And it's usually a combination of those three. And 25 minutes of light weightlifting, and then some stomach crunches and other calisthenics, and then a little warm down.
Yeah, that is an exercise regiment
Yeah.
that is very impressive. That's a great exercise regimen you got
Yeah.
going on there, and that's every day.
Well, every weekday for 9 years, with the exception of times we were on travel. And when we're on travel, I try to find a machine, a small gym nearby, or we're traveling in the summer and I can swim. But I don't stop working on weekends. I just extend it to other types of exercise.
Have you done any work with TikTok or Instagram Reels? Have you ever tried that?
I work on Instagram sometimes. If I have something important to announce, I post on Instagram, but I've never used TikTok.
Okay, I think you could be very popular on TikTok.
Think so?
I really do.
What do you think? Like 5 million people?
Yeah,
5
I mean,
million?
just
Yeah.
as a start.
Maybe to 10. I
Well,
gotta try
sure.
it. I guess I gotta try it. And then,
Yeah, I really do because I here's my suggestion for you. Here's my unsolicited advice.
thanks.
Um, I believe that if you filmed your workout routine and then you made the title of it, 3-time cancer survivor,
Yeah.
and it's a 60-second video, and it's just you're just cutting between everything you do in the morning, right? So you just do like
Yeah.
5 seconds of you doing running, and then 5 seconds of you doing the pedaling thing, and then five
Yeah.
seconds of you like lifting the weight, and then the title of it just says 3-time cancer survivor.
Yeah.
I think that video would be a great first video for you.
Sure.
um
Can you? How long can you go on TikTok without being
you can
cut
go
off?
10 minutes.
Okay.
The
I can do it.
the most popular videos are 60 seconds.
Okay.
Yep. And
I'll
then
give it a try.
please do, and let me know how it goes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, I absolutely love that. And then if you ever want to have a conversation with me, there's a number of places where you can post those videos,
Yeah.
and we could sell some books for you and get people interested in
Well, I
what the Gurns
appreciate
is up
that.
to.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like something that'd be interesting to try.
Yeah, I think people would really, I know they would love you on these
Mhm.
platforms, because you have such an inspiring story.
Well, thank you.
Ladies
Yeah,
and gentlemen. Yeah,
it has
please.
been quite a ride.
Yeah. No, I'm super proud of you. You're such
Thank
an
you.
inspiration. The world must know the Gurns story. We must find a way, because there's so much depth to it. I
Yeah.
mean, if people really wanted to dive into everything that you have to offer, the countless interviews, tons of books, it would really take some doing to go through everything that you've put out there. The incredible stories that you have, overcoming what you've overcome. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, thank you, Kellen.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got Keith's number. You've got his information. You know where to find him. He's going to be wildly popular on TikTok. He's going to be the top influencer in his space, which is cancer surviving, positive thinking, exercise guru / spiritual teacher, Keith Guernsey. And I just want to thank you for coming on the show. It's great to see you.
Well, thank you for having me, Kellen, and I hope you have a great new year.
Yes, sir. All right. Bye.